2 weeks ago, the United States officially recognized the legitimate government of Venezuela and its new president, Juan Guaido. We stand with the Venezuelan people in their noble quest for freedom, and we condemn the brutality of the Maduro regime, whose socialist policies have turned that nation from being the wealthiest in South America into a state of abject poverty and despair. Here in the United States, we are alarmed by the new calls to adopt socialism in our country. America was founded on liberty and independence, and not government coercion, domination, and control. We are born free, and we will stay free. Tonight, we renew our resolve that America will never be a socialist country.
It's 11:45 Eastern. It's time for A Radio's Morning Moment.
You're listening to A Radio.
Thank you for joining us. You're listening to A Radio, and this is the Morning Moment. Follow us on Spreaker.com and click on the like button. You can find us on most social media platforms such as iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Go to our website, aradio.wordpress.com, for details, where you'll find more content and details on our podcasts and more. Okay, Senator Ron Johnson, we have for you a 3-part piece, an interview with Senator Ron Johnson, who, among other things, and the committees that he serves on, is the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations. This clip, as are many, is from Glenn Beck, and it's way too long for one of my podcasts. You need to absorb all this information. That's why I've cut it down. So it's broken down into 3 parts. And as I said, not to drag it out, but hopefully it will let you absorb and consider the mind-blowing information. But the problem is, ladies and gentlemen, is it's a bit like a newspaper in its heyday at the moment. Every day there's blockbuster information. It's almost as though you need to be a 24-hour news channel. It's so overwhelming. This is not just about Biden and the Biden's activities, but it's deeper, pardon the pun. It's the deep state and what they're doing, the investigations and the cover-up. But what you may not know is all of this. Now, before I play you this clip, this will date this podcast, it doesn't matter. It's more important about the information, is watch Pelosi. Pelosi is the key to this. Pelosi is being underestimated. Why? Because of the power she thinks she has. She doesn't have it, but she thinks she does. And the power that the mainstream media give the Speaker of the House that she doesn't really have. They are underplaying the power that the President has and overplaying the power that the Speaker has. There is a battle going on here, ladies and gentlemen, and behind the scenes, they're covering up for Biden, Harris, and the rest of them, and the communists that are behind the scenes manipulating the Democrat Party of the United States, particularly controlled by Soros. Now, I'm going to keep hammering this until people get this. The overall arching goal of the Democrat Party, now controlled by communists such as AOC and others, is to flip America not to be a socialist country, but to be the beginnings of a communist country. This is what you need to look at this through that filter. Look at the makings of a communist country and then listen to these things in this 3-part piece that I'm going to play for you. Once you understand that, once you understand their goals, everything else fits into place. I really don't understand why people think it's complicated. It's not complicated because Democrats don't have brains. They're transparent. They are so simple in their mindset that they have to tell you what they're going to do because they're so pleased with themselves. They have to bang their chests like boxers, like championship boxers. We've done it. This is what we're going to do. Listen to them because they always tell you what they're going to do. But people don't believe it and think it's just rhetoric. And the mainstream media always play it down. Now the joke is, and it's not funny, that the mainstream media, if these people succeed, will be the first to be attacked. Now I'm going to do something that is unusual. Not for me, but it's unusual generally. First of all, I'm going to tell everybody to listen to Cold War radio. Why? Because this gentleman, Hutch Bailey Jr., has been bringing this information to people's eyes for years, under the radar. Now, he is a small podcast compared with many, many others, but he'd been right on the money. And the other one leading the way, by a long way, is Glenn Beck. Now, people think he's kooky. I don't, because he's been right on every single thing. So listen to Glenn Beck. Listen to Cold War Radio. Please listen to us. But understand this. This is a communist takeover of not just the United States, of every Western country, under the guise of climate change and under the umbrella of Agenda 2030. Your freedoms are being taken away from you right in front of your eyes. And the mainstream media in every Western country is complicit. I just don't understand why they think they'll be immune from this regime, because they will be the first to be attacked. They won't be ignored. I have said in many podcasts in the past, particularly on Agenda 2030, the key to this is control the media, control the message. What are they doing in the United States? They control the media. Therefore, they think they should be able to control the message. In Canada, they are taking steps to do that at this local level, such as the platform that I'm using. They can't do that in the United States yet, but they will. And they have plans to do so. Wake up. Wake up. Listen to Cold War Radio. Listen to Glenn Beck, because it's coming.
Yesterday was amazed at Comey. He didn't know absolutely anything. And the reports that we now have with their own handwriting on it shows that they knew that everything that happened in the impeachment hearing was a setup. They knew it. They had all of the information. They knew Hillary Clinton was behind it. And yet, they put America through what they put America through. Why? Because the deep state is too powerful right now. And Donald Trump and anyone who's going into Congress or into the Senate is disrupting all of that. It's not just the power, it is the obscene amounts of money. Have you noticed how rich all of these people are? How does that happen? You're going to serve and you leave a millionaire? How does a guy like Joe Biden spend 50 years as a public servant and live the lifestyle he has? How are all of his kids wealthy? Most people don't care about Hunter Biden, and quite honestly, I don't care about Hunter Biden either. What I do care about is we're possibly going to elect a president who is the most corrupt that we have ever seen. What happened in China, what happened in Ukraine is sickening. And if it's not ended, we don't have a republic anymore. Senator Ron Johnson is with us now. Senator, how are you, sir?
I'm great, Glenn. Hope you are as well.
I am. I'm just very, very concerned about our republic in this coming election for what they have planned, because we've seen, if you didn't believe in the deep state in 2016, I get it. But if you don't believe in it now, you're not paying attention at all. And nobody seems to be interested in uncovering any of this or actually doing anything about it, except for a small handful of people, and you're one of them.
Well, what I've certainly discovered in our investigations, which literally date back to March of 2015, when my committee started investigating the Hillary Clinton email scandal, and we're the ones that found the extensive editing of the James Comey exoneration memo.
Yeah.
But what I found is the deep state starts right below the surface and is pervasive throughout these agencies. So just below the political appointees, we have a deep state. These are, by and large, committed Democrats, committed leftists, that they support Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. They do not support President Trump. And we've seen them undermine and sabotage this administration from day one. I mean, Glenn, it is remarkable that in 2 weeks you had 2 phone conversations from President Trump, first to the Prime Minister of Australia, and then to the President of Mexico, leaked to the press.
Right.
My committee looked at leaks 126 or 125 in the first 126 days. And 62 of those had to do with national security. And these were the leaks that spawned and fueled and kept going the false Russian narrative that then people like James Comey and Robert Mueller picked up the ball, and they just kept pushing it on the American public. And look at the turmoil this has put our political system in for the last almost 4 years now. So
that brings us to a place, Ron, where we are looking at, let's say, Hunter Biden. We now know through Treasury receipts that he took $3.5 million from the wife of the Russian mayor, or the Moscow mayor, totally corrupt, took a transfer of funds for loan payments, which is code for money laundering, and shipped it directly to Hunter Biden. We know it. We have all of the wire transfers from the Treasury Department. And yet the media and Joe Biden was allowed to say, and never corrected, that's all been debunked. It's not true.
Yeah, I get so sick of that term, debunked. Glenn, I've said for a long time, the bias in the media is revealed far more by what they don't report versus what they actually, the very overt bias in what they do. And so what first of all, before our report came out, they were carrying the false allegations that Chuck Grassley and I were peddling Russian disinformation.
Right.
We had literally hundreds of news stories peddling that false allegation. Since our report came out, first of all, they stopped with that allegation largely because there's no Russian disinformation in our report, but they just collectively shrugged at our report. So, there's nothing new here.
Right.
I mean, these rumors about Hunter Biden have been out there. That's true. And the mainstream media has never covered them. So once we put a little bit more meat on the bones, once we start giving them these start revealing these documents that, by the way, they don't answer all the questions. We don't have access to all of Hunter Biden's financial transactions, but there's so much we did reveal. The $3.5 million payment. There's another $391,000 that flowed from that widow into a company called BAK USA that was also promoted by Andrew Cuomo. Then millions of dollars of transactions to and from Chinese nationals with connections to the Communist Party of China, as well as former affiliations with the People's Liberation Army. These are troubling revelations. And again, the media just, nothing new here, all debunked, no wrongdoing. The Senate report shows no wrongdoing. We reveal all kinds of potential wrongdoing and potential conflict of interest, counterintelligence, and extortion risk and threat in a Biden administration.
You can find more at aradio.wordpress.com. spreaker.com, where you can find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Gab, Parler, Spotify, and email. We are continuing to reach out to you, so please pass these links on to your friends. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. You can listen to all our morning moments at Spreaker.com/A-Radio. That's EHRADIO, a radio. And please click on the like button. Join us Monday, Wednesday and Friday, 11:45 Eastern, for our morning moment or tweak. And tell your friends, pass the word. We only tell the truth, not what the Canadian mainstream media want you to know. This time, more than any in history, we all need to trust but verify.